You burst into the world cracking open your shell in a pile of siblings and immediately regret it. 1 second, you're safe and warm inside your egg, and the next you're wet, shivering and lying in a mess that smells vaguely like feet. Mom barely looks at you before moving on. Welcome to the pond where no one cares. Your first task is to figure out how to walk easier, said than done, when you're stuck with legs that look like someone glued pancakes. To the ends, you try to walk forward, tripping over every stick and rock in your path, but your mom's already walking away. And if you don't keep up, that's on you. You finally make it to the water's edge, and the cold hits you like a slap. But there's no time for hesitation. Mom is not waiting, and your siblings are already shoving past you like it's a race. You plop in, and congratulations, you're swimming. Well, sort of. It turns out floating is the easy part, but staying alive not so much. The pond might look calm, but beneath the surface, it's a free-for-all. Death Trap Mom doesn't seem too concerned. She's busy looking for her next meal, while you and your siblings figure out how not to drown. You paddle around awkwardly, your tiny legs kicking furiously, trying to stay close to the group. But the second you let your guard down, a shadow glides over the pond. A hawk. Everyone freezes. Mom quacks an alarm, and the group scatters. You dive underwater, your heart pounding, and stay there until your lungs feel like they're going to explode. When you finally resurface, the hawk is gone. For now, at least once you've survived your first swim, it's time to eat. Spoiler ducks don't exactly have many options. You shove your face into the water, hoping to scoop up something edible and come up with a mouthful of slimy algae. Just yum. It tastes like soggy grass clippings with a hint of pawn mud. But you choke it down anyway. What else are you going to do? Starve not on your watch. You try again, determined to find something better. But your next bite is somehow worse. It's part algae, part mud, and part whatever that is. That's when you realize that food is less about flavor and more about survival. There's no time to be picky. If it fits in your bill, you eat it. Of course, your siblings make this process even harder. The second you manage to scoop up something halfway decent, one of them is already there, snatching it out of your bill like a little feathery thief. You're outraged, but they don't care. Sharing, not in this family. The rules are simple. Grab, fast eat faster, and don't let your siblings catch you hesitating. Because hesitation equals hunger, fights over food are inevitable. Someone pecks you for accidentally swimming too close, and suddenly it's an all-out brawl over a piece of soggy pondweed. That wasn't even that great to begin with. You'd think the fights would be dignified, but no, they involve a lot of shoving, flapping, and poorly aimed pecks, and they almost always end with everyone muddy, no one full, and the pondweed sinking to the bottom where no one can get it. You try to get strategic. Maybe if you sneak off to a quieter part of the pond, you can eat in peace. Bold move. But unfortunately, the quiet part of the pond doesn't have more food. It just has fewer witnesses. When a predator decides to attack you as if fighting your siblings over scraps. Wasn't bad enough. You've also got predators to worry about. The list is long and terrifying. Foxes, raccoons, snapping turtles, hawks, and even the occasional snake. If it moves, and it's bigger than you, it's probably trying to eat you one day. You're pecking at the water's edge, trying to grab a bug, when a snapping turtle bursts out of the water. It lunges its jaws snapping so close to your legs, you can feel the rush of air. But the stupid thing misses. You're not sure how, and you're definitely not going to stick around to ask you got lucky this time Before you can even figure out what to do next, Mom charges in. She's flapping her wings and quacking like she's about to throw it down with the turtle. The turtle stops for a second, probably realizing this whole thing isn't worth the effort, and slides back into the water. Like it wasn't just trying to eat, Mom gives you a shove, and you stumble back toward the group. You can tell. She's annoyed, probably thinking, how did I raise something this dumb? Meanwhile, you can't stop staring at the water, expecting that stupid turtle to pop back out at any second. You spend the rest of the day staying as far from the edge as possible, wondering how many more of these near-death experiences you're going to have to survive by a few weeks old. Your cute yellow fluff starts falling out, replaced by patchy feathers that make you look like a walking disaster. You're not exactly winning any beauty contests, and your siblings don't let you forget it. Pecking matches become a daily occurrence, and no one holds back one wrong move, and you're getting shoved into the mud. And then there are the geese, big, mean, and loud. They show up, uninvited, and make it their mission to ruin your day. They stomp around, honking at everyone and biting anything that moves. Mom tries to stand her ground, but even she knows when to back off. The geese take over the best spots, steal the best food, and leave you with whatever scraps. They couldn't be bothered to eat. It's humiliating. At around 6 to 8 weeks old, you learn that flying is not a talent you're born with. It's a skill. And like all skills, you do it badly at first. Mom watches while you and your siblings make your first attempts. You flap your wings, push off the ground, and immediately crash. You do it again, this time managing to get a few inches of lift before hitting the dirt harder than you expected. No one's clapping. You keep at it, because there's no alternative. Your wings hurt, your legs are tired, and every attempt ends with a humiliating thud. You even start wondering if walking was really all that bad. But by the end of week 8, something clicks. You manage to stay airborne long enough to actually go somewhere. You do figure out how to land, though landing might be too generous of a word. It's more of a controlled stumble. Flying isn't glamorous, but it's functional now, and that's what counts. At 8 weeks old, you leave Mom, or rather, you do what every young duck does. Get out of her way. She's not waiting around for you, and you're definitely not her problem anymore. So off you go. Ready or not to start life on your own. You do what you must to survive. You move from pond to pond, hunting for food that hasn't already been picked over by older, stronger ducks. You do your best to eat whatever you find, bugs, weeds, or anything vaguely edible. Some days, it's enough to keep you going. Other days, you wonder if this independence thing is really worth it. You also do your best not to get eaten. You learn quickly that any rustle in the bushes or shadow on the water is your cue to dive, run, or take off if you've got the energy for it. You don't always succeed, but you're still here, which is all the proof you need that you're doing something. Right? Social life doesn't exist. Sure, you might stick near other ducks your age, but only because predators are less likely to pick you off in a group. No one's chatting or bonding. This isn't a social club. It's an unspoken agreement to make someone else the easier target. As for romance, you should just forget it. The older ducks ignore you, and the younger ones are just as ugly as you are. You're not in anyone's top picks, and frankly, you don't have the energy to care. You do adapt, though each day teaches you something new, like where to find better food, how to avoid predators, and which ponds to avoid altogether. And then winter hits. It turns out that ponds freeze, bugs vanish, and every blade of grass worth eating has already been picked clean. You spend your days digging through snow and mud. For scraps at nights, you're crammed under bushes, shivering, and hoping nothing with teeth or claws notices you, the smart ducks. You know, the ones who decided to migrate are somewhere warm, floating on sunny ponds, eating whatever they please, but not you. You missed that opportunity. Maybe you didn't get the memo, or maybe you just weren't ready. To make the trip either way, you're stuck here living in the frozen wasteland you once called home. Food becomes an abstract concept. You eat whatever you can find, half-frozen weeds, the occasional dead insect, and if you're lucky, some seeds that haven't been buried under ice. But this is not enough. You lose weight. Your feathers look worse than ever. And every morning you wake up, surprised. You made it through the night. Every predator out there knows winter makes things desperate. Foxes and raccoons patrol the frozen edges of ponds like they're waiting for a free meal. You do everything you can to stay out of their way, but you can't hide forever. Most of the younger ducks don't make it. You see their feathers in the snow and try not to think about how close you are to being next. But somehow you survive. Spring eventually shows up late, as always, and with it comes a little hope. The ice melts, the bugs return, and you finally start eating. Enough to feel alive again. But you're thinner, weaker, and more tired than you've ever been. Eventually, you do what every duck does. You